Game started.
Oh, Hubble from the UK. Starts off with D4. Here, let's see if I can get a Grunfeld again. Haven't been able to get one of those. Ah, maybe. Okay, a Grunfeld.
Server announcement.
Ah, it stopped him from playing automatic moves. That's a good sign. Has to remember what line he has against the Grunfeld. Takes. That's a fine line. That's the main line. And then E4 to kick the knight. That's a little unusual there. Normally if they're going to play knight F3, they do it on the move before. They don't bother to take. So let's just develop. Now E4. Okay, so we kind of transposed into a line where he played knight F3 a little early, but that's a playable line too. There's this pin. There's castling, there's C5, and there's the pin. I think let's castle first, get out of the center. Which is maybe a little bit slow. Now C5. Trying to mess things up there. And he defends with the bishop. Yeah, so it's a solid defense. So now even if I play bishop to G4, pinning his knight or trading his knight off. Say I trade the knight and I take, he takes. I've got bishop and queen attacking the pawn and he has bishop and queen defending it. So that doesn't help. How about queen to B6 hitting his bishop and putting pressure along here? He can bring his rook to B1, defending the bishop. I can also go queen to A5 here, pinning the pawn. Looks a little bit interesting. Okay, that unpins immediately. And, well, let's start getting my pieces out. Where does the bishop want to go? Maybe the bishop goes here anyway. Other squares, the bishop kind of seem to be in the way. I want to get rooks on these central files. The bishop on E6 runs into a pawn push. Here it can't go. So maybe I should just trade that bishop off. And my further development plans are knight to F6 and rooks to the C and the D files. Yeah, I haven't played the Grunfeld so much that I know exactly what the value of that bishop is. I'm just noticing from the squares along that diagonal, it just doesn't seem to have many. So when that happens to one of your pieces, sometimes you're better off just trading it for one of your opponent's good pieces if possible. Okay, well, Hubble is thinking, well, this will be a different game than the last one. It is a little awkward. I think he can't really push the d-pawn forward, and if he takes, I have a choice of which pawn I grab. I can grab the pawn on c3. Yeah, I was thinking he needed to live with the tension a while longer. So I take on c3, and he trades and kicks my queen. My queen can retreat back to where it came from. And this pawn is still under fire. I think this is an okay outcome for me. I could have simply grabbed on c5 too, I believe. So I'm expecting rook c1 and then the queen back to a5 is what I was planning, because it seems useful on this diagonal. It could go all the way back here, but let's keep some pressure on the c-pawn. That's my idea. Knight to c6, or even knight to d7 is possible, isn't it? Defended by the bishop. Although there may be tactics. So knight d7 and he moves his knight. Well, I take the bishop with the tempo on the queen. I have a loose pawn on e7 too. Sometimes when black wins a pawn, white will. Okay, so he just securely defends that pawn. So what I will do is blockade it with my knight. That's the more solid choice here anyway. Now anytime I can trade this bishop for that knight, and he won't have the bishop pair because he already traded off one pair of bishops. So what here? Rook to the d file seems natural, but is that going to lead anywhere? I also have knight to b4 hitting the queen. And, the entrance square is controlled here. Okay, so what does he do about knight to b4? He has no dark squared bishop to pin it. He could pin it with the queen. He could play queen to c3. Knight b4, queen c3. And do I have anything clever there? Don't see it. Okay, so let's let's put a rook on the d file then. That's the more natural, normal looking move. Yeah, white's pawn structure is a little worse, but his pieces are active. This is probably an okay position for both sides. Can I play knight to... Can I play knight to d4? Hitting his queen and his bishop. Knight takes. Take the bishop. Takes my knight. I take... How's that go? Knight here. Knight takes, bishop takes, he takes back with the knight. Yeah, that doesn't work. That's just giving up two pieces to win one piece. That's no good. Yeah, so now I have to decide. Do I want to try and keep that bishop? I think not. I think really that bishop has no great square. Although e6 is playable now, isn't it? Bishop e6, hitting the pawn. He can defend it. Or knight takes, bishop takes, then knight to d, or knight d4, hitting the queen and the bishop. Probably is slightly better for me, so. The queen's defending the rook, so I don't see how he can pin that knight there. I think that's stable there, and it's hitting the queen and it's hitting the bishop. And if I can drag the queen away, maybe I can win one of these pawns. Get into some kind of winning endgame. So I guess if I were him, I would play bishop back to e2, so that when I take the bishop and he takes back with the queen, he's still defending the a pawn, and the rook is defending the c pawn. I can pile up on the c pawn. He doesn't. He puts his queen on this diagonal, hits my pawn here. But, well, his bishop goes with check, so his king side will be messed up, right? Surely that's worth something. Is there anything else here? Check, pawn takes. I can come in with the rook. I can exchange the rooks. I can't come in. And then this pawn is still hanging at the end. but I can grab this pawn, and his king side will be messed up.
Check.
Now that's got to be good for me, right? Now rook takes is what I was thinking. He has to take back with the rook, and then this c pawn is undefended, and my pawn is undefended. But I am...
Check.
But I'm defending my a pawn, and I can maybe get my rook into the game. If I get my rook into the game, I want to get the rook to the 7th rank. That would be ideal. But he's covering a lot of these squares here, and he's threatening to bring his rook to the 7th rank too, so I have to be careful. There is a check here. Tricky business. I guess this is one way to do it. I can bring the rook to the c file supported by my queen. Let's think about this. He brings his rook to the 7th rank. I can throw in a check. And then I can bring my rook to the 8th rank here and threaten mate. I think that is looking good for me. He can also threaten along the 7th rank here, so I do have to be careful. Very double-edged position here, but his king is a little more exposed than mine, so that's what I'm banking on as my advantage. So the check here also defends the c1 square. That's what I'm thinking of. Queen here, check, rook to c1. And the queen and the rook coordinating on this corner of the board should lead to a mate if he doesn't defend it. So if he tries to get too advanced, for example, rook to rook to d7, which is otherwise a tempting move, doubling on the 7th rank. You know, might run into that. Queen here, check. Then rook here, and he can take a pawn, but I think I mate first. So that's what I'm calculating here. What's he got? And if he leaves the rook on the 8th rank, maybe I could penetrate to the 7th rank or something like that. Say check and rook here, and then the queen maybe goes to h4, looking at the f2 pawn and the h pawn. Ah, he covers the check. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so if I bring the queen forward to threaten things, let's first secure the 7th rank here. He has checks, but I can block him, like rook check, king up, queen check, pawn
Check.
up. Yeah, he's going for that.
Check.
We will see if this leads anywhere. I now have check and get the queens off as an idea. So he goes to that square. I see. He is going for the mate here. Or, well, I don't know if it's a mate, but he's threatening to come into the 8th rank there. So I can block. And then what? I can check first and grab a pawn and see if I survive the mate. That's an interesting idea, actually. Check here, grab on f4. And then he comes in here with the queen or rook check. I go to h6. If he had a rook check, then he's out of checks at that point. But if he did the queen check, then he has the queen check from f8. And then my king can come forward. And then he has a rook check here. Where's my queen? My queen is here and my rook is here. I can block that with a pawn. And then I think he runs out of checks. So let's try this.
Check.
An exciting way to play. And that's as quickly or as deeply as I can calculate in the amount of time. So let's play it and see what happens. You should try to calculate these things out to the end, but that's what I can do under the circumstances here. The queen's also protecting the rook, so I'm not going to lose to a discovered attack on one of my pieces. The way I'll lose is if I get mated over here in the corner. So queen here check, king h6, queen here check, king h5, rook check, pawn to f5, and then I don't see any more checks from that position. The king is here. White can threaten to take the h-pawn, and I can start delivering checks to his king. So pretty rough calculation. Oh, the check here picks up the rook if the queen is no longer defending it. So that would be queen here check, king to h, queen g8 check, king h6, queen f8 check, king h4, rook rook d5 check, pawn to f5 blocking it, and then say queen to h8 attacking the pawn. I have check by taking on e4. Queen takes e4 check, queen takes rook, but then he has queen takes h7 check. I have to make sure I don't get mated. In fact, I do get mated because oh no, there's one square here. Yeah, these things get very, very difficult. Okay, finally had to move. So he was having trouble calculating that sequence too. And oh, he goes there. So now that defends the this pawn. It allows a check. Oh, he's just going to go into a endgame down material. Right, I have 4 to 3 over here. I should accept that offer.
Check. Okay, I just want to make sure there's no pawn coming to f4 here. And then, okay, what's he got? He's attacking this pawn. Let's defend it. I want to push the h pawn forward. There are some tricks over here. He can push this pawn all the way forward and then get his rook to b7 here and win that way. That's a pretty clever trick I have to be careful of. Okay, let's change the plan a little bit here. He goes there. Okay, let's step up a little bit.
Check.
Oh, he takes advantage of the pin. I missed that. I missed that. Good endgame play from Hovel here. Okay, let's grab this pawn. And now I can do that trick. If he takes, oh, he queens first. He queens first. Oh no. Oh, that's terrible to lose that game.
Black resigns.
Okay, I will upload that and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.